Welcome back to the channel, everyone. My name is Alexander Howell, and today what I wanted to talk about was something that I am ridiculously excited to discuss, and that is travel. And not just travel as in you have to be scared of it. What I want to talk about today is travel past where we, let's say, are right now. So if you're willing to have that conversation, let's roll the intro and let's talk about travel in the new age. All right, so if you got to this point already, my name is Alexander Howell. This is my YouTube channel, and you can also follow me on these social media links. You can send me a text at 816-727-7740. That is a text directly to me. If you have any questions about the things that we discuss, also feel free to visit me on my website, alexanderhowell.com. If you hit the Contact Us page, all that does sends an email directly to this guy. On top of that, at Alexander from KC is where you can find me on pretty much every social network, and but my main jam is Instagram. So feel free to follow me there. But my name is Alexander Howell. I run this YouTube channel, and we talk a lot about travel, specifically Merida, Mexico, and Mexico in general, Yucatan, so on and so forth. I've also spoken about real estate, marketing, advertising, and the like. But today, what I wanted to really go over and discuss is, and actually, before I get into that, I have to give a huge shout out to the person who is actually the first member of this page. So when you go to my YouTube channel, you'll see that there is now a join button. So if you hit my face, it'll take you to the main page, and there's a join button, and you can help this channel to grow like crazy. But Bella Kleininger, you are my hero. Thank you for being the very first member of this YouTube channel, and your name will always be forever in this video. So Bella Kleininger, thank you so much for joining, and let's get back to it. So I actually debated making this video because it's not, I don't want to say it's necessarily controversial. It's just something where everybody has so many different opinions, and a lot of them are right. I honestly don't believe that many of us are too far off. But everything has been so divisive about the pandemic that talking about traveling in general has just kind of been strange. The positive was I made a short, for those of you who saw that earlier in the week, where I said, here's some tips for travel, and here's a good time to book your flight. And I hope that that was helpful for most of you. But as we get into this new age, I also had some comments on the last video, and a lot of them had to do with, hey, make sure you mention masks and mask policy, because Yucatan, as I said before, I talk about Merida, Mexico, which is in the state of Yucatan in Mexico, but mask policy down there is still strict. When you go outside, you have to wear a mask. When you go into a physical business, you have to wear a mask. You can really only take the mask off, and correct me if I'm wrong in the comments down below, but you can only really take your mask off if you are in the act of eating or drinking. So if you're at a restaurant, you can take it out, or you can take it off. Don't take it out. But you can take your mask off if you're in the act of eating and drinking, which makes a lot of sense. There are people that will debate every part of that. There are people that will debate, I guess, every part of that on the other side. That's just the world that we live in right now. But we are getting to the point where you can see the light at the end of the tunnel. I thought that this was actually a really good idea to talk about because we have so many differing opinions on mask policy. So I thought this actually kind of mirrored something that I've spoken about in other videos, and that was appreciation of the culture that you are surrounded by when you travel. The area that you are from has a lot of different things that you are currently used to, especially now when for the past, let's say, 15 months, you have felt like you're in a tiny box surrounded by only your house, children, pets, significant other, or none of that, or all of that. Probably not able to travel to work as much. Or even if you did, it's way different than it used to be. Anyway, let's get off the soapbox. You have been in a different environment for the last year to year and a half that you have never had to deal with in your entire life. And I know that because we are in the same boat. Everybody in the world is in the same boat. And we all have to kind of get over that. We have to figure out how to move past it. And it's going to be a difficult process because a lot of people were ready to move past it before it started. And a lot of people are ready to move past it, but scared because of what they have seen. When it comes to travel, not to get too heavy, but when it comes to travel, you have to understand that the place where you are going has their own set of laws. And while you may have opinions, no matter what they are, you have to make sure that you are comfortable in the environment that you are going to. And if you're not, don't go. There are countries that I would refuse to travel to because I don't agree with anything that they have to say. Mainly their government. Their people are amazing. Anybody that's ever traveled to a place that the government isn't great, but the but then you go there and the people are amazing, you know what I'm talking about. Governments are not people, people are not governments. That's all I have to say to that. That's as controversial as I'm gonna get on this video. I pray that that's the truth. Whew. Okay, getting back to it. So whether it was now, the future, or the past, whenever you've gone to a different country, you probably recognize that there are certain things that are different than where you're from. And that might be mannerisms. You can do this, but this is disrespectful. A wave here is not the same as a wave there. There are all kinds of small and big things that you just have to get used to when you are in that country. There's a, I don't know how many of you are fans of the UFC, but there's a story of somebody who went to Dagestan to visit Khabib Nurmagomedov, who is an amazing fighter champion in the UFC. But they went to Dagestan, where he's from, and they sat, and when they sat, they crossed their legs and showed the bottom of their shoe, if I can talk. They showed the bottom of their shoe. That is apparently a really bad sign. Whistling, bad thing. You can't do those things. But the individual understood that that was a part of their culture, backed off of it, learned from it, kept going. These are the things that you do when you're traveling to a country. And this is actually pretty awesome, because when you do that, you are traveling there for what it is. It is either for pleasure or for business, but no matter what, you're traveling there as a guest. And it's a wonderful time to learn about that country. And you might leave there and say, I'm never going back. No big deal. I love whistling. Dagestan's not my place. Or wherever. The fact of the matter is, you are going there as a guest of that country. Appreciate. And this, bringing it back to the main focus of this channel, which for the last about year has been talking about Merida, Mexico, the state of Yucatan and Mexico overall, is that there was a comment in my last video where somebody said, hey, please mention mask policy. And I said, I know I've talked about it before, but I'll try to work it into a video. And this is the place where I'm going to work it in. And again, I don't want this to be controversial. I just want to kind of express my opinion. I'm from a very, we'll say, conservative place in the country. My politics are very rangy. I'm left, right, center on a whole plethora of issues. But I'm also from a city that is very progressive. And so you can imagine that there is a lot of Hatfield and McCoy activity going on with a lot of people that have varying opinions on what things are. And that's completely fine. We can all debate those things as long as they're informed and as long as we're kind. In travel, as I stated previously, make sure that when you go somewhere, you research what their local laws are. And in Yucatan right now, as I said, there is a mask policy outside, inside, unless you are actually eating or drinking, you need to keep your mask on. And hopefully, and I think everybody there thinks this too, hopefully very soon, that will be lifted and we'll be able to be within 6 feet of each other. We'll be able to not have masks. But it really did hit home with the idea of a video that I made prior to this. And the video is this one. There you go. There it is. Or maybe it's on this side. It doesn't matter. It's one of the sides. Either way, it was a video where I basically said that when you go into a certain place, it's about culture and you have to understand that. And I still 100% and totally support and agree with the statement that I made. But at the time, we weren't where we are now. The positive is that we are pulling out of it. So I guess to finish this up, what I will say is this. When you travel the world, you're going to see all kinds of amazing sights and people and things. But you also need to appreciate while you're there what that culture means and embrace it. Love it. If there's something you don't agree with, if there's something you don't like, you're still there. When you leave, talk to everybody about it. Say what you thought the fault was. That's completely fine. I have no problem with that at all. But when you're there, you are a guest. Understand that that is your relationship. When you're home, talk about it. Enjoy it, hate it, do all of those things. One of the things that I am the most proud of with most of the people that I actually talk to and have a relationship with is that when we discuss these things, there's middle ground. We are not as divided as I think we're meant to feel at times. We are all getting through this in our own way. And now there's finally a light at the end of the tunnel. Like I said, in Jackson County, Missouri, everything's getting lifted and it's fantastic. But I understand that other places in the world, particularly the place that we're traveling to in late July to early August to Merida, isn't like that yet. And I hope it will be soon. But if it's not, I'm going to go. I'm going to follow their guidelines and their laws. And I'm still going to love it because I love the place. I love the state. I love the city. I love the country. I love mine too. So there we are. All right, so we got through it. We got through that video. I know it was crazy. I know that might have sounded like a lecture. I really pray that that was not the case, that nobody ever took it like that. But I just wanted to, I've seen so many positive things happening and so many negative comments that I just wanted to kind of dive out and put myself out there that this is my opinion, that civility will win the day. And hopefully within the next couple of months, we're going to get through this. But for everyone who is still here listening to this, who didn't just log off or type a negative comment without watching the whole video, which has happened. My name is Alexander Howell. Thank you so much for liking and subscribing and hitting the notification bell of this channel. And also, of course, watching this video. Bella, again, thank you so much for being the very first member to join this channel. That was awesome to see. Thank you again so much. And if you want to join like Bella did, please feel free to hit the join button. If you just go to my channel by hitting my name at the bottom of this screen right here, and you hit the join button, you can feel free to be a traveler or a voyager. Either way is completely fine, or don't. Every video on here is still going to be here in exactly the same way. But for those of you who want to be a part of the community, thank you so much. Also, feel free to visit me on these social networks, 816-727-7740. You can text me direct at Alexander from KC. Visit my website at alexanderhowell.com. Again, we are getting through this, and I am ridiculously excited that that is the case. And as always and forevermore, peace.